State of Florida has announced some decisive steps towards curbing what they see as the role of big tech in that state. Governor Ron DeSantis is making moves to fine tech firms who deplatform politicians, saying in part that those platforms have, quote, negatively impacted Americans who dissent from orthodoxies favored by the big tech cartel. Here's a bit more of what he said.
Core issue here is this: are consumers going to have the choice to consume the information they choose, or are oligarchs in Silicon Valley going to make those choices for us? No group of people should exercise such power, especially not tech billionaires in Northern California. Now, if I had to choose, I'd rather be governed by the first 50 names in the Tallahassee phone book than the CEOs of big tech companies.
Okay, so joining us to discuss, Democratic strategist and founding partner at Northern Star Strategies, Michael Starr Hopkins, and co-host of the Realignment podcast, Marshall Kossoff. Marshall, let me start with you. Tech is part of your major portfolio. What do you make of these proposals? There's been some discussion on the right. They're like, this is the most serious attempt to rein in tech. What does the legality of the situation look like? And would this actually do anything in order to ameliorate the concerns that Governor DeSantis has laid out here?
Yeah, I like the way you frame this. Well, several things. One, this basically doesn't make that much sense. And a problem we're going to see, especially in the 2020s, as all this becomes less about policy and more about communications and signaling, is that what matters here is the fact that Governor DeSantis is signaling to the Republican base that I'm against tech companies in a variety of ways. And with, honestly, good justification on the Republican base's side, is there's a perception that these companies are not with them. That's what matters here. Because on a deeper level, like this actual proposal is not incoherent, but doesn't actually make that much sense. So let's actually look at the use cases here. So are you telling me if I'm running for office in the state of Florida as dog catcher, as a representative, as, let's say, even like the local recycling board member, I'm literally allowed to say whatever I want on Twitter or Facebook or any social media platform? That's insane. Doesn't actually make any sense. Like, can I start like just saying like racial slurs? Can I start promoting anti-Semitism? Can I start threatening people? That's the actual problem here. It's not coherent. And let's like keep in mind, like Trump wasn't kicked off Twitter while he was running for office. So that isn't even addressing the actual issue that's actually at play here. The broader conversation is like, how should Twitter interact with government officials, people who have actual federal, state, local capacities? That's the broader issue here. This is just signaling, and that's my frustration.
Yeah, Michael, I really agree with Marshall on this one. It's more about the just sort of like political signaling. And you see this a lot with conservatives where they want to rail about the censorship, but they don't actually care much about the power structure that give these few men so much influence and so much power in America.
Yeah, and let's not lose the irony in this. The only reason that Ron DeSantis is governor is because of social media. It's because of a tweet by Donald Trump. So not only is this proposal unconstitutional, but the only reason he's in office is because Trump supported him over Adam Putnam in that Republican primary. Look, Ron DeSantis is not only a bad governor, but he's just become a mouthpiece for Trump. Literally everything Trump supports, whether it's reopening the states when we all know Corona is spiking, whether it's stupid, tech ideas like this, he has become Trump's acolyte. And it's why I really worry about what Trumpism looks like come 2022 and 2024, because there are people that are just regurgitating these ideas without thinking about the substantive policy behind them.
Well, and Marshall, I mean, that's the problem here is it's probably smart politics. Like, this is probably going to work out pretty well for him, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's smart. So smart politics, good for him in terms of like the political side of us, good points for him for owning it and being aggressive and also articulating it in very straightforward terms. The broader thing that I want like conservative listeners of the show to think about is like, what is your actual concern here? So the actual concern here is that tech companies in a variety of ways are arbitrary in their decisions. We all know during the Hunter Biden situation, which even people on the left have really critiqued Twitter for taking Hunter Biden and banning the New York Post. That was an arbitrary decision where there was no actual planning, and we all saw that. So moving forward, what we actually need to have is a system where there are clear rules, there are clear policies, and then customers can choose to abide by those rules to like spend time on the platform or not. That would solve 98% of what's actually going on here. The broader point, though, and this is where anyone who's feeling upset at me and Michael and the rest of the team here for pushing back against this is fake laws that would never pass, and even if they magically did pass, would be ruled unconstitutional. Because, Michael, you hit this. The key point is what this law basically says is that a private company would not have the right to moderate its platform. That's not a Section 230 issue, but that's a First Amendment issue. So that's the broader point that conservatives are going to have to really deal with. And what's funny is conservatives here, when they think of gun control and Second Amendment fights, they entirely understand the idea that in many ways the American system is structured around the Second Amendment, and therefore any discussion has to come from that. Well, the internet, communication online, that's all structured around the First Amendment. So if you want to deal with this issue of tech company power, work around the First Amendment. Don't just throw out proposals that are in complete opposition to its principles.
Yeah, I would love to see this law run into the buzzsaw of Neil Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett. Would just probably be the most ironic thing ever. Guys, thank you so much. Very thoughtful discussion here on a very difficult and thorny problem. So thank you.
Great to see you both.
Thanks.
Yep.
We'll have more Rising for you after this.